Good morning or good evening, wherever you are in the world, and I hope you've had an amazing week so far. So, in today's podcast, we're going to talk about why your website is silently leaking leads and the 8 actionable checklists that you need to take today. So, let's get straight to it. So, your website is probably leaking leads and it's costing you a fortune. How do I know this? Because I know that even a 1 second delay in your page load time can cut your conversions by 7% because your mobile conversion rate is likely half of your desktop rate and you're not tracking it. And because 96% of unhappy visitors don't complain, they just leave quietly and go to your competitor. So, for most SME business leaders, your website isn't the lead generating machine you had either paid for or hoped for, and it's leaking. And every pound you're spending on marketing is just pouring into a system that can't hold the value. So, today we're not going to talk about vague concepts. We're going to do a practical audit, and I'm going to give you 8 highly specific, actionable checks that you can make today or this week to find and plug those leaks. So, we're all about action on this podcast. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what to look out for, what tools to use, many of which are free, and what to do about it. So, let's begin. So, issue number one, your website is a brochure, not a salesperson. And this is the most common problem. Your website was built to look good, but not to sell. So, the first thing I want you to do is go to your homepage. And if you're look at it as if you're a first time visitor, and can you answer these 3 questions in 3 seconds? What specifically do you do? Who specifically is it for? What specifically should they do next? And if the answer isn't immediately obvious, you're already leaking leads. So, what I wouldn't do now is I wouldn't try and use clever or vague marketing speak like we empower synergistic growth because that kind of language is meaningless. People don't know what it means. You need to be brutally simple with things like we provide IT support for manufacturing firms in London. Clear, specific, no room for confusion. And here's the thing, if you're a technical industry such as engineering, IT, manufacturing, you might think you need to sound more sophisticated for your buyers. You don't. You just need to be clear. Look at a company such as Basecamp, for example. Their homepage says project management software for teams who want to own their own data. That's it. You know exactly what they do and who it's for. Compare that to a site that says, we leverage cutting edge solutions to optimize your digital transformation journey. People are question marks everywhere. We don't know what these guys do. And confused people don't buy. So I would suggest you take an action and rewrite the headline on your homepage to be super simple. And if your 12-year-old nephew or niece can't understand what you do from reading your homepage, you need to rewrite it. Issue two, your website is painfully slow. So data shows that a page load time of over 3 seconds loses you up to 70% of your potential conversions. So here's a check. Open a new tab and go to gtmetrics.com or Google's Page Speed Insights, both of which are free, and enter your website's URL. And if your load time is over 3 seconds, you have a critical leak. So don't ignore this. You must address this because this is not a minor issue. It's a very critical issue. What you need to do is look at the report, tackle the top 3 recommendations, and typically it's always unoptimized images. So use a free tool like tinypng.com to compress your images and just re-upload them. And that one action can cut your lead time in half. And here's something most people don't realize. Speed isn't just about the initial load, it's about the entire experience. If your site loads quickly on desktop but takes 6 seconds on mobile, you're losing half your audience. Desktop conversion rates average around 4.8%, mobile 1.6 to 2.9%. That's less than half. And the primary reason is speed and usability. So don't just test on your laptop. Pull out your phone, open your site in 4G, not Wi Fi, time it, and if it's over 3 seconds, you've got work to do. So, what I would suggest is you run a speed test on GT Metrics and Page Speed Insights. And if it's slow, compress your images using TinyPMG. And if you're on WordPress, install a plugin like WP Rocket. And these are quick wins that can cut your load time in half. Issue three, you're attracting people with no intent to buy. So traffic is a vanity metric, and if it doesn't convert, and the problem is often a mismatch between the keywords you're targeting and the user's intent. So here's a check. Look at your keywords that you're targeting in your blog content or your Google ads. Are they informational or are they commercial? Informational is something like what is digital marketing? Commercial is best digital marketing agency for engineering firms. One is about learning and the other is about buying. What I wouldn't do is spend my ad budget on informational keywords. You're paying for people who are just browsing. And what I would do is focus my paid ads exclusively on high intent commercial keywords. For my blog and SEO, I'd create content that answers those informational questions. But every single one of those posts would lead to a valuable download asset, such as a lead magnet. So let me give you a concrete example. Let's say you're a digital marketing agency. If you're targeting the keyword what is SEO, you're attracting people who are just learning and they're not ready to buy from you. But if your target is SEO agency for SaaS companies, you're attracting someone who knows what SEO is, knows they need help, and is actively looking for a provider, and that's intent. And if you're running paid ads, this is even more critical. Every click costs you money. And if you're paying for clicks from people who are just browsing, you're burning through your cash. Use tools like Google Keyword Planner or SEM Rush to identify high intent keywords in your industry. Look for phrases like best, pricing, specific industry, or near me, or book a demo, and take this action. Audit your top 5 keywords. Are they for browsers or buyers? If you're running paid ads, make sure every single keyword has commercial intent and adjust your strategy accordingly. Issue 4, you have no compelling reason to convert. And this is a big one. A visitor with buying intent lands on your site and you offer them a contact us form, and that's it. Only 3% of your market is ready to buy right now, and a contact us form is a high friction, high commitment action that speaks to none of the other 97%. So look at your landing pages. Is there a valuable low friction offer for people who aren't ready to talk to sales right now? What I wouldn't do is just have a newsletter sign up because it's not valuable enough. What I would do is create a lead magnet that solves a specific problem for my ideal customer. So great examples for B2B include a 10-point website conversion checklist, an ROI calculator for your services, a potential free template like a one-page marketing plan, or a 15-minute pre-recorded demo video. These are all valuable and they solve a problem and they get you the email address you want, which is the very start of a hopefully long relationship. And let me give you some real examples. So if you're a financial advisor, a retirement readiness calculator is great. If you're a marketing agency, a 10-point website conversion checklist. If you're in IT support, a cybersecurity risk assessment template. Those solve real problems. These aren't massive projects. A checklist can be a one page, a calculator can be a simple Google Sheet or a free tool built with Typeform. And here's the key, make the form simple. Ask for a name and email, and that's it, because every other field you add reduces your conversion by 10 to 20%. Once they download it, they're in your ecosystem. You can nurture them with email, you can show them case studies, you can invite them to a webinar, but first you have to capture the lead. Take this action. Brainstorm one lead magnet you could create this week. Make it simple, make it valuable, and put it on your homepage above the fold with a clear call to action. If you can get this done in the next 7 days, you'll start capturing leads you're currently losing. Issue 5, you're flying blind. You've no real data. If you can't measure it, you can't improve on it. Most SMEs have Google Analytics installed, but it's not configured to give them actionable data. Here's the check. Can you right now answer these questions? What is your website's overall conversion rate? Which marketing channel drives the most qualified leads? And what are the top 3 exit pages where people leave your site? If you can't, you're flying blind. So what I wouldn't do is just look at traffic and bounce rate. They don't tell us a whole story. What I would do is install Microsoft Clarity, for example. It is 100% free and it gives you 2 things: heat maps to see where people are clicking and session recordings to watch exactly what users are doing on your site. You will see with your own eyes where they get stuck, confused, and where they leave. I've seen this transform businesses. For example, one client installed Clarity and within 48 hours, they discovered that 60% of users were trying to click on an image that wasn't a link. They thought it was a button. One quick fix and their conversion rate jumped by 15%. You can't fix what you can't see, and most SMEs are making decisions based on a gut feeling, not data. Google Analytics will tell you how many people visited. Clarity will show you what they actually did. You'll see them get confused. You'll see them abandon forms halfway through. You'll see exactly where the leaks are. And the best part, it's completely free, no credit card, no limits. Microsoft built it to compete with Hotjar, and they're giving it away for free. So go to clarity.microsoft.com, sign up for free, and add the tracking code to your website. If you're on WordPress, there's a plugin. If you're on Shopify, it's a simple integration. In 24 hours, you will have more insight into your user behavior than you've had in the last year. Watch 5 session recordings, and I guarantee you'll find at least 2 things you'll need to fix immediately. Issue 6. Your leads are falling into a black hole. This leak happens after the conversion. A lead fills out your form, and then what? They get a generic thank you email and wait for a call that might come in 48 hours. By then, the intent is gone. They've already moved on. So here's the check. Fill out the main contact form on your own website. What happens is the lead automatically entered into your CRM? Is there an instant automated follow-up email? Is there a sales team notified immediately? What I wouldn't do here is have my lead sent to a general email inbox where they can be missed or forgotten. What I would do is ensure my website forms are fully integrated with my CRM. When a lead comes in, it should trigger an automated workflow. Lead data should instantly be filtered to your CRM. An automated personalized email should be sent to the lead immediately. The sales team should be notified with the lead's details. Tools like HubSpot, Lead Pages, Zapier can connect your forms to your CRM and automate this entire process. I've worked with a professional services firm that was generating 20 leads a month from their website. Sounds amazing, except those leads were going into a shared email box, and sometimes they'd get a response in 2 hours, sometimes in 2 days. We connected their forms to HubSpot's free CRM, set up an instant automated email, and added a Slack notification to their sales team. The response time went from 2 days to 2 minutes. Conversion rates from lead to consultation, it tripled. Speed matters when someone fills out a form. They're hot, they're engaged, and if you wait 24 hours to follow up, they've already spoken to 3 of your competitors. Tools like Zapier can connect almost any form to almost any CRM. HubSpot has a free tier that includes forms and basic automation. Even a simple autoresponder email that says thanks. We'll be in touch with you within 2 hours. It's far better than science. So test your own lead capture process. Fill out the form on your website. What happens? How long does it take? If it's not instant and automated, you have a critical leak to fix, and it should be your top priority. Issue 7, your paid ads lead to a dead end. If you're running paid ads, Google ads, LinkedIn ads, and you're sending that expensive traffic to your homepage, you're burning through your money. Your homepage is a general store with a dozen different options, and a paid ad needs to lead to a dedicated landing page with a single focus goal. So here's the check. Look at your current paid ad campaigns and where does the link go to? Is it a page with one clear call to action that matches the promise of the ad? What I wouldn't do now is send an ad traffic to my homepage or generic services page. What I would do is create a specific landing page for each ad campaign using a tool like Unbounce or Lead Pages. This page should have no navigation to distract them, a headline that matches the ad they just clicked, one clear call to action, for example, download the checklist, the book, or the demo, a form that is integrated directly with my CRM. This is how you turn ad spend into actual leads. And if you're spending £1,000 a month on Google Ads and sending that traffic to your homepage, you're probably wasting £600 of it. A dedicated landing page with a single focused call to action will convert at 2 to 5 times the rate of a homepage. And that's not a guess, that's data from thousands of campaigns. So look at companies like Unbounce or Lead Pages. They've built entire businesses around this principle. You can create a landing page in an hour using their templates with no developer required. And the structure that you need is simple. You need a headline that matches your ad, a subheadline that explains the benefit, a clear visual image or short video, 3 to 5 bullet points of where you add value, a form or a button, and social proof in the form of a testimonial, a logo, or a stat. And that's it. No navigation, no distractions, just one goal: capturing the lead. And if you're running ads, create a dedicated landing page for your most important campaign. Use those tools on Bounce and Lead Pages, or even a simple WordPress plugin like Elementor this week. Then compare the conversion rate to your homepage, and you'll never send ad traffic to your homepage again. Issue 8, you have no proof. So people are becoming increasingly skeptical. They heard the promises before. Why should they trust you? And here's the check: go to your main services page. Is there concrete, believable proof that you can do what you say you can do? And I don't mean a vague, fluffy testimonial like they were great to work with. What I wouldn't do is just make claims. I wouldn't say we're the best. What I would do is build a library of proof. I would show, not just tell. This includes case studies with real numbers, such as, for example, we helped a client in the logistics sector reduce their IT support tickets by 40% in 3 months. Video testimonials from real clients, logos of companies you've worked with, data points we've managed over five, for example, we've managed over 5 million in ad spend. Trust is not claimed, it's earned, and you earn it with proof. So let me give you a formula. Instead of we help businesses grow, say we helped a logistics company reduce delivery times by 30% in 90 days, saving them £50,000 a year. That's the difference between a claim and a proof. And if you're worried about confidentiality, anonymize it. We helped a mid-sized manufacturing firm in the automotive sector. That's also fine. The specificity is what builds trust. If you don't have case studies yet, start building them now. And after every successful project, ask your client if you can document the results. Track the before and after, get the numbers. This is your most valuable marketing asset. Add one specific data-backed proof point to your main services page. If you have a case study, link to it. If you don't, create one this month. This is the difference between a website that makes claims and a website that builds trust. So the next big question is, do you fix it or do you rebuild it? So I've gone through these 8 checks, and maybe you found 3 leaks, maybe you found all 8. And now you're asking the question every business leader asks at some point: do I invest in fixing this website or do I just start over? So this is a critical decision, because if you make the wrong call, you'll either waste money patching a fundamentally broken system, or you'll spend 15,000 on a new website when all you needed was a few strategic fixes. So let me give you a framework to help you make that decision. When to invest in your current site. So you should invest in improving what you have when the foundations are solid. And here's what that means. Your website is currently built on a modern platform. So for example, if you've invested in WordPress or Shopify or Webflow or another current CMS and it's been updated in the last 3 years, the bones are good. You can probably work with this. If your site's mobile responsive at its core, not just it kind of works on mobile, but it was built with a mobile first design, pull out your phone. If the experience is decent, you can probably optimize it. Your structure still makes sense. So your navigation is still logical. Your pages are organized around the customer journey. You're not fighting against a fundamentally flawed architecture. These problems are then all fixable. You've got slow load times, compressing images, ad caching, weak messaging. All you have to do is rewrite the message and the CTAs, and add them strategically. If your issues are primarily around messaging, content, speed, and conversion elements, you can fix them without rebuilding. Investing in your current site makes sense when you're looking at 2 to 5K in spend in targeted improvements. New copy, speed, optimization, adding a CRM integration, creating lead magnets rather than 15 to 30,000 for a full rebuild. When you actually do need a new website, so this is when you need a completely fresh foundation, and this is what you look out for. Your website's been built on outdated technology. So if your site is 5+ years old and hasn't been updated, if it's built on an obsolete platform, or if your developer says we can't do that without breaking everything, the foundation is rotten and you need to rebuild. It's not mobile responsive at its core. If mobile is an afterthought, if you have to pinch and zoom, if forms don't work properly, if it's fundamentally a desktop site trying to squeeze onto a phone, you need a new site. Over 60% of your traffic is mobile. You can't patch this. If your structure is a mess, if your site is organized around your internal departments instead of your customers' needs, if navigation is confusing, if key pages are buried 5 clicks deep, the architecture is wrong. You can't fix bad architecture with good copy. It doesn't reflect your current business model. If your business model has changed, you've added new services, you've shifted your target market, you've pivoted your positioning, and your website still reflects who you were 5 years ago, it's time for a rebuild. You can't track or measure anything. So if your site is a black box, you can't add tracking codes, you can't integrate with your CRM, you can't set up conversion goals, you're flying blind. And if fixing that requires rebuilding half the site anyway, just rebuild it properly. Sometimes it's just cheaper to rebuild than to patch. And if you're looking at 8,000 in fixes to a fundamentally flawed site and a new site costs 12,000, spend your extra 4,000 and get it right. The telltale signs you need to act right now. Whether you're fixing or rebuilding, here are the signs that you can't afford to wait. Your traffic is steady or growing, but your leads are declining. Your bounce rate is over 60% for B2B. Industry average here is about 40 to 50%. Your mobile conversion rate is less than half your desktop rate. You can't answer the question, where do our leads come from? Your page load time is over 3 seconds. You're spending money on ads, but you can't track ROI. Your sales team is asking, why are these leads so bad? And if you're seeing 3 or more of these, you don't have a marketing problem, you have a website problem. And it's costing you every single day. So here's my advice. If you're on the fence, start with the quick wins, install that clarity, compress your images, add a lead magnet, see what happens. But if you go through those fixes and you're still leaking leads, if the data shows the problems are structural, don't keep throwing good money after bad. Invest in a bit rebuild. Do it once and do it right. And to sum up, stop patching and start building. So there you have it, 8 specific actionable checks. So if you went through this list and found multiple leaks, the question is no longer if you have a problem, but how deep the rabbit hole goes. And unfortunately, if your website isn't generating leads, it's not because the internet doesn't work, it's because your website isn't built to work. And if you're seeing these signs, high traffic but no leads, a bounce rate over 60%, a mobile experience that's a nightmare, it's time to stop patching a sinking ship and build a new one designed for one purpose, conversion. But it starts with one step. My challenge to you is this: pick one of the actions from this video and do it today. So install Microsoft Clarity, compress your images, create that checklist, because momentum builds on momentum, and the journey to a website that actually makes you money starts not with a huge budget, but with a single decisive action. So thanks for watching again today. If you've liked this content, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe.